Imagine a city of the future. Picture wide, gleaming avenues lined with sleek, modern skyscrapers. Envision vast public squares, grand museums shaped like crashing waves, and row upon row of pristine apartment blocks, all under a bright, open sky. This place has everything a major metropolis needs, except for one crucial element: people. The streets are silent, the grand plazas echo with nothing but the wind. The thousands of apartments stand dark, their windows like vacant eyes staring out at a silent world. This isn't a scene from a post-apocalyptic film. This is Kangbashi, a district in the city of Ordos, in Inner Mongolia, China. For over a decade, it was known around the world by a much eerier name: China's Ghost City. A stunning multi-billion-dollar masterpiece of urban planning that seemed to have been built for nobody. How did this happen? Was it a colossal misstep, a symbol of economic madness? Or is there a much bigger, more surprising story hidden within these empty streets? Strap in, because today we're going on a journey inside the mystery of Ordos. We'll unravel the grand vision, the years of haunting emptiness, and discover the utterly unexpected twist this so-called ghost city is experiencing right now. To solve the mystery of the ghost city, we have to rewind the clock and travel not just in space, but deep beneath the earth. Our story begins in the 1990s and early 2000s, far from the empty boulevards of Kangbashi, in the dusty, mineral-rich fields surrounding the older town of Dongsheng. Here, beneath the arid soil, lay one of the world's largest treasure troves, colossal reserves of coal, and alongside it, a staggering wealth of rare earth minerals. These aren't just any resources. They are the building blocks of our modern world, essential for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced military technology. This discovery triggered a modern-day gold rush. Local farmers, often with little more than shovels and sheer determination, became overnight millionaires. Stories circulated of waiters being tipped with bricks of cash, of fleets of luxury cars suddenly clogging the narrow roads of a once poor region. Ordos, almost overnight, found itself swimming in unimaginable wealth. The local government's coffers overflowed with tax revenue from the mining boom. And with great wealth comes a great desire to build a legacy. The leaders of Ordos looked at their booming but chaotic and polluted older districts and dreamed of something grander, cleaner, and more sustainable. They weren't just thinking of a new suburb. They were envisioning a model city for the 21st century, a shining cultural and administrative hub that would leave their mark on history. This dream was named Kangbashi, and they had the money, literally at their fingertips, to make it happen from scratch. What followed was one of the most ambitious urban construction projects in human history. Think of it like building an entire capital city in the middle of nowhere, but at breakneck speed. They didn't just put up a few buildings. They drafted a master plan for a metropolis designed to house over 1 million people. Vast tracts of empty land were transformed into a geometric grid of wide, multi-lane boulevards, ready for the bustling traffic of a major hub. They erected monumental cultural landmarks that would be the envy of cities 10 times older. A museum in the breathtaking shape of the undulating Gobi Desert, a monumental library, a grand theater, and a sporting stadium fit for international events. They built massive government complexes, towering office blocks, and, most strikingly, vast neighborhoods of high-rise residential apartments. These weren't shoddy constructions. They were modern, well-built, and often aesthetically pleasing. Schools, hospitals, and shopping malls were all part of the blueprint. They even created an artificial lake and lush parks to soften the harsh Mongolian steppe landscape. It was a planner's utopia, built in less than a decade. The local government moved its headquarters there, planting a flag in the heart of the new district. The stage was set, the city was built, all that was left was for the people to come. And they didn't. And this is where the ghost city legend was born. For years, Kangbashi existed in a surreal state of perfect, silent completion. Satellite images showed a fully formed city street grid, but at night, only a handful of lights twinkled in a sea of darkness. Photographers and journalists from around the world descended, capturing the eerie scenes that fueled the global myth. They showed empty highways where weeds cracked through the asphalt, vast shopping malls with not a single shopper, and playgrounds where the swings creaked for no one. The statistics were staggering. At their lowest point, estimates suggested the district had a residential population of only around 20,000 to 30,000 people, with a housing capacity for over 300,000. The vacancy rate was soul-crushing. To the outside world, this became the ultimate symbol of Chinese economic overreach, a build-it-and-they-will-come philosophy gone horrifically wrong. It was cited as proof of a debt-fueled property bubble destined to pop, a monument to wasteful government spending and top-down planning arrogance. The narrative was clean, simple, and deeply compelling. China had built a city for ghosts. But that narrative, while based on a visible, undeniable reality, was incomplete. It was a snapshot that missed the entire movie. Because the story of Ordos wasn't about a static failure. It was about a long, difficult, and intentional process of waiting.
So, if the city was built and ready, why did everyone stay away? The reasons are a complex web of economics, human behavior, and sheer geography. First, and most basically, the people with the money, the coal and rare earth magnates, already had lives, businesses, and connections in the older districts like Dongsheng. Uprooting to a shiny new city 25 kilometers away was an inconvenience, not a necessity. Second, Kangbashi initially lacked the essential organic ecosystem of a city. Yes, it had beautiful schools, but would the best teachers transfer to an empty district? It had a state-of-the-art hospital, but would the most experienced doctors move there without a large patient base? This is the chicken and egg problem of new cities. People move for jobs and services, but jobs and services flourish where there are people. Third, and most critically, the timing turned disastrous. Just as Kangbashi was finishing its construction phase, the global financial crisis of 2008 struck. Then, the very source of Ordos's wealth, the coal boom, began to falter. Environmental crackdowns and a shifting global economy caused coal prices to plummet. The local economy, overly reliant on this single resource, went into a severe downturn. Many of the newly minted millionaires found their paper wealth evaporating. The speculative property market in Ordos, which had seen prices skyrocket on anticipation, collapsed. This meant that even people who wanted to move to Kangbashi might have been stuck with unsellable property elsewhere, or simply lacked the cash. The perfect storm had arrived. A finished city, a population with no pressing reason to move, and an economic crash that removed the financial ability to do so. Kangbashi was trapped in its ghostly state, waiting for a catalyst. That catalyst came not from the ground, but from policy, patience, and a fundamental shift in strategy. The local and national government never truly abandoned Kangbashi. The initial investment was far too massive to write off. Instead of seeing it as a failure, they began a long, steady, and deliberate process of seeding the city. Think of it like carefully introducing plants and animals to a new ecosystem. The first and most powerful tool was education. They didn't just build schools, they established flagship school campuses of some of the region's top educational institutions in Kangbashi. In a culture that places immense value on education, this was a masterstroke. To give their children access to these modern facilities and reputed curricula, families began to relocate. Where families go, small businesses follow. Grocery stores, tutoring centers, cafes. The second tool was administrative compulsion. Government offices were already there, but more public sector jobs were steadily shifted to the new district, requiring employees to work, and eventually live, closer to their jobs. The third tool was creating genuine attractions. The stunning museum, library, and theater weren't just for show. They began hosting major events, exhibitions, and festivals, drawing visitors from across the region who would then see the wide, clean streets and modern housing. Slowly, a trickle became a stream. The lights in the apartment blocks began to stay on at night. One by one, shops on the ground floors opened their doors. The honking emptiness began to recede, not with a sudden flood, but with a persistent, patient tide. Here is the twist in our ghost story, the part that often gets left out of the sensational headlines. Today, Kangbashi is no longer a ghost city. It is a functioning, growing, and increasingly vibrant urban district. Recent estimates put its permanent population at over 200,000 and climbing steadily. The wide avenues now have traffic. The parks are filled with children playing and seniors practicing Tai Chi. The artificial lake is a popular spot for summer strolls and photography. The world-class cultural venues are in regular use. The vacancy rate, while still higher than in an organic city, has plummeted. What we witnessed for a decade wasn't the death of a city, but its prolonged and difficult birth. Kangbashi is a powerful case study in something urban planners call strategic anticipation, or preemptive infrastructure. Instead of building incrementally and risking chaotic sprawl and infrastructure strain, China often chooses to build the entire urban framework first, anticipating future need and guiding growth in a specific, controlled direction. It's a high-risk, high-cost strategy that looks like madness during the painful lag phase between construction and occupancy. But when the population finally arrives, they inherit a city with ample space, modern systems, and planned greened areas, avoiding the traffic nightmares and infrastructure deficits that plague many older, organically grown cities in the West. Kangbashi's emptiness wasn't the end of the story, it was the long, silent middle chapter. The tale of Ordos holds up a mirror to our own perceptions. It challenges the Western notion of how a city should grow, from a small settlement outward, slowly and messily. It presents a different model, the planned city, built in one monumental effort, designed to shape the future rather than just respond to it. This model has risks, as Kangbashi's ghost years painfully show. It requires immense capital, long-term political will, and a tolerance for a period of unsettling emptiness. It's a top-down vision meeting the bottom-up realities of human life and economic cycles. But calling it a pure failure is to miss the profound lessons and the eventual outcome. Ordos is a story about the power and peril of ambition. It's about the volatile nature of resource-based wealth. And most importantly, it's a lesson in the elasticity of time when it comes to urban development. A decade of emptiness feels like an eternity to us, a clear sign of a doomed project. But in the centuries-long life of a city, a decade can just be a blink, a short, awkward adolescence before it finds its place in the world. Kangbashi is slowly finding its soul. The ghosts, it turns out, were just temporary visitors. So the next time you hear the term ghost city, remember the unfolding story of Ordos. Look beyond the eerie photos of empty streets and see the process at work. It's a process of monumental vision, patient waiting, and strategic nurturing. The mystery of China's ghost city isn't really about why it was empty. It's about the complex forces that fill a space, both concrete and intangible. It's a reminder that what looks like an ending is often just a long, quiet beginning. The skeleton of the city has been built. Now, flesh and blood and life are steadily flowing in, writing the next, much livelier chapter of its extraordinary history. The ghost, it turns out, was just a temporary visitor.